So I have struggled with overthinking for a very long time, and I actually found out that I was thinking in a way that was limiting myself. So now I would like to talk about what we see as thinking. So to me, thinking is basically the moving of your thoughts. Now, what are thoughts? Thoughts are one form or another created in the mind of the man. So to think, yes, is one thing. To think well is another thing. Most people actually think, but they think destructively. On a normal day, you would hear things like there are two types of thinking, constructive and destructive types of thinking. But to me, I see it as intentional and default type of thinking. Now, the default type of thinking is when you are reactive or you are emotional when processing your thoughts. And then the intentional ones are the purposeful ones, the aware kind of thoughts. Now, these kind of thoughts can either make or mar the individual. Let me give you this scenario. You are in a space, for example, and you see that a particular thing that has been on your mind for a while suddenly comes out of the mouth of somebody. Why is that so? It's because thoughts actually move. You hear that humans are bodies of frequency and energy vibrating at different times. But you don't know that whatever vibrates from your body, if not treated well, can move on to the next individual. That's why you can be in a space and you are thinking of, oh, how the food you ate in Kilimanjaro tasted so nice. And then somebody goes on to tell you, I want to order Kilimanjaro. And you're like, is this person actually reading my thoughts? This is a safe instance, for example. What I actually would tell people is that you are the beginning and the end of your life. Now, your thoughts is basically what will guide you throughout the process. We really do not think well enough. And when you don't think well enough, you cannot live well enough. Your thoughts basically are that compass that would guide you throughout your whole course of life. You listen to rich men, billionaires, and then they will tell you that it all started with a thought. It started from the mind. Now, that thought was guided by certain things, and I would like to state them. For example, number one is when you're trying to think, you should be very, very logical. Logical in the sense that you should know when this is actually possible or when it is a fantasy. Most people would dwell in a space whereby they think things in their head, but it is all a kind of fantasy world. They really do not try to understand if this kind of thoughts, the way they are measuring it, if it is a measurable goal, for example, or an immeasurable goal. For your thought to be considered feasible, it has to be measured, meaning that it can be tracked for a period of time. Now, my question is, how well do you think? How well do you move your thoughts in your mind? Because for a project, for example, to come into life, your thoughts has to move from point A to point B to point C. Now, what you're doing is the art of thinking. So it is circled basically around the movement of your thoughts. Now, the right thoughts, thinking properly, the right thinking patterns can influence your life positively or negatively. For thought management, people will tell you, go to therapy, you should do some kind of things. What I would advise is just to engage yourself. I am someone that is trying to pick up a lot of pieces. So things that interest me, for example, going to the gym. I am in a space whereby every single person there are fixated on their own progress. You will hear the word Sunday, and the word Sunday, what it basically means is that every human being, regardless of whatever smile the person puts on, regardless of the person's countenance, are going through their own phase of life. That is what the word Sunday means. Now, it is a very remarkable word in the sense that understanding its meaning to the root would actually let you know that a person, regardless of whatever the person is facing, how he or she looks, actually has certain levels of responsibilities, has his or her own goals on his or her own plate. And then understanding that would actually give you a better sense of fulfillment. So doing things that you love, engaging yourself, recharging, spending time in nature, these are things that can recalibrate and bring to life new thought patterns. Now, according to a concept in mind engineering where we talked about neuroplasticity, this is basically rewiring of your mental framework, whereby you do something repeatedly and then it becomes a way of life. You are introducing new patterns. As you are introducing those patterns, you are using those patterns to replace the old ones. So they will tell you that change happens within a period of time. That is actually very, very true. You just need to be consistent, and then you need to do it repeatedly so that your mind understands that, okay, this is a new phase of life. This is how we are meant to carry out these things. So to me, if you are not thinking right, you are not going to live right. Your thoughts should not just be something that you treat as a mere passerby. It should be the center of attraction or the cynosure in this phase. Your whole world revolves around your thoughts. So basically what it means in summary is that if you think right, you will definitely live right. My name is Ogili Franklin Ifeanyichukwu, and this is the X Mind Engineering Group.